Well, another evening and a bit more progress, and as you can see, by progress I mean more chaos. So the workshop at that end is completely jam-packed up against the roller shutter door. There's a lathe and the welding trolley and the gas cylinders and all the rest of it. Bits of the milling machine on the floor down there. Down here is the compressor. He's just resting there for the moment. That's not his final resting place, at least not quite, at least, because that red tool stack has to go. Well, when I say go, it has to move. And then we'll go over to the bench, and you can see the workbench is absolutely jam-packed with stuff that's come out of the lathe, that's come out of the milling machine cabinet, various places, things that I've had to, shelving that I've had to empty. And I sent a photograph of that to Tweedy, and he said, well, you've turned it into an auto jumble stall at Kempton Park. So yeah, he's probably right. But there we go. So where's the milling machine gone? Well, let me twizzle you around. I'll just go over here a bit, and I will twizzle you around as I've just said. There we go. Not in its final position, I don't think. Oops, excuse me, kick the camera stand. There has to be some finessing of the position, because basically this space here is where the lathe is going to go, and I need between here, which is the brick column that supports the wall, and where the milling machine is, I need about just over 4 feet to get the lathe in comfortably, and obviously need to have enough room to be able to get in here, work the milling machine handles, obviously not stand here, but stand here, work the milling machine handles, allow the milling table to come all the way over here, which it does do. It does also go all the way over here, but I need, comfortable amount of room to work. The back of the lathe, the door needs to open to get to the change wheels, so that's another consideration. So yeah, I need more than 4 feet, don't I? So 4 feet takes us to, from the brick pillar, takes us to here. So I think I can just about do it. And get the lathe snug up to the brick pillar here, finish about here. Yeah, everything's a compromise, isn't it? Sorry, I'm getting in front of the camera. Everything's a compromise, but yeah, I think I can just about do it. So there we go. I would have liked the milling machine to go further back into that corner, but it's just not gonna work, I don't think. But having said that, I think this is the way forward. I'm convinced this is still a good plan, because there's so much more. Well, the workshop looks so much wider with the milling machine out of the way. So yeah. Anyway, we'll keep going. The floor is incredibly uneven here. It's not too bad, actually. I'm on a bit more of a level ground there, but when I was moving the milling machine, I noticed that. Oh yeah, there you go. It was worse than that when I was moving it, so there's going to need to be some packing underneath the base, and we need to get it anchored down to the concrete as well. I'll buy some concrete anchors, probably nip out tomorrow and get some from the local building supply place in my local town. So there you go. That's where we're up to. I will keep you posted. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to another late afternoon, early evening in the workshop. And the milling machine is still in the position that I left it to start with, and I've moved the lathe down now, trying to work out how close to get the lathe to the milling machine, where it can go. And I have to say, I don't think this is really working. When I say it isn't working, I'm creating problems that I didn't have before, in an attempt to solve the problems that I did have, which is not ideal. Most of the problems stem from the brick pillar. Just move you up a bit. So we have this brick pillar here on the wall, which needs to be here, obviously, because it's a single-skinned wall, and there needs to be some rigidity. So this pillar has to stay. I can't knock it down and remove it, or anything drastic like that. But the lathe is. I was hoping that the lathe would tuck in behind this pillar, which it can't do at the moment, because that would make it too close to the milling machine to be able to use the milling machine to its full extent. So what do I mean by that? Well, with the table fully over here, fully over towards the lathe at its full extension, which I admit I probably won't do very often, but you don't want to site the machine in a place where you can't maximize its capacity. You need to be able to get full use of the machine in the position that you have it. And at the moment, I can. It's comfortable. I can work here. Sorry to turn my back to you, but I can work here, no problem. I can open the door on the lathe with the table across. I can open the door on the lathe fully and get to the change wheels. So, this is an ideal position for the lathe with the milling machine here. But there's a huge space here now that is not utilised, which, will probably just collect junk. I mean, I could put the shop vacuum cleaner down there or other things down there, I don't know. But it's not really the best use of space. The other problem that I have, let me just move the camera. It'll probably creak again. I don't know why. The tripod needs a bit of silicone grease or something like that, I think. So you're looking there at the space between the current position of the tool stack and the brick pillar here. That's not enough space to get the compressor in there. Now, I had previously said that I would move this tool stack, and I will once I get my new shed built, but I haven't done that at the moment. So the compressor will probably have to just go in there at a bit of a jaunty angle, which is far from ideal. And again, if I do get another lathe, then that's where I would want it to go. So when I say I'm creating problems, stuff is going to move out into the new shed. That's a fact. And then stuff will move from this side of the workshop over to the other side. And then this space here will be much more, much larger and easier to use. But I've got to find somewhere for the compressor to go. I don't really want to put it in the new shed, because the new shed will be made out of wood. It'll be quite big. It'll be a single skin construction, and the compressor's really noisy. I'd rather have that in here, so that when it is running, it's not annoying my neighbours, because I live in a semi-rural area, but the road that I live on is residential. So we don't want to upset anybody. So the compressor really needs to live in here. I had thought about underneath the workbench. That might be a good place for it, but then all the stuff under the workbench would have to be relocated, which might be doable. So, yeah. You're just following my thought processes at the moment. It's probably not the most exciting video, but I've had another idea, and I'm going to try it. And that is, instead of having the milling machine across the corner like that, where I've got wasted space in that corner, and I've got kind of wasted space down there between the door, by the door I mean the door of the workshop here, and the milling machine. What's that space doing? It's not really doing anything. I could put a trolley there with the ultrasonic cleaner on it, I suppose. But I think the ultrasonic cleaner eventually is going to go out into the shed, because that's where the parts wash is going to go. Kind of a dirty area, clean-up area in the shed, and then a sort of clean machining environment in here. So, how about if the milling machine goes in front of the window? Drag the milling machine around here so it sticks out this way. Table goes across the room there, and then the lathe can move down a little bit, which kind of tucks it into that corner there and gets it out of the way, Whatever space is down here, maybe the welding cart can go there. Just spitballing ideas with you. So I'm going to give that a go and see what it looks like. I can always put it back. So that's where I am at the moment. These things, you know, are never easy, are they? You can walk around with a tape measure and say this will fit here and this will fit there, but until you actually organically try it, you don't know whether you can get along with it and it'll be suitable or not. So that's my next thing, I think. I've got to muster up the strength to move that milling machine again and then push the lathe down a bit further. So yeah, I'm going to give that a go. Do I really want the milling machine in front of the window? Well, it's a compromise. It's a compromise. I like having the window. I like having the light coming in, the natural light coming in. But yeah, I think light will still come in, won't it? We'll still be able to get to the window latch to open the window in the summertime when it's warm in here. And also, I sometimes open the window, just put up the first notch when I'm working, just to stop condensation building up. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a go and see what it looks like. If I don't like it, I can put it back and we can sort of live with the lathe being here. But I'm not terribly keen on the lathe being kind of half in and half out, which is against this pillar here at the moment. And then obviously the wall is further away here and we've got this great big gap behind, which isn't terrible because it means I can get to the back of the machine to do servicing. I need to service the electrics. But in all fairness, that's probably once a year that I need to service the electrics. And I can just unbolt the lathe from the stand and slide it forward on the stand and get to that anyway. So, yeah, it's not as though I'm in the back to the electrical box all the time. Most of the servicing on the lathe is done from the front, from the side, from the change wheel area. You can get into the gearbox here. You can change the oil here. So, yeah. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll be back shortly once I've moved the milling machine. We'll have a go. See what it looks like. Well, Happy New Year to you all. It's now the 2nd of December. I hope that you had a nice New Year's celebrations, if that's your thing. And, well, welcome to 2025. Hope that it all works out for you in the way that you would like it to. Back in the workshop, it's morning, so you see the light streaming through the window, probably ruining my my camera shot, but not an awful lot we can do about that. Don't have a blind on the window. But you can see that the milling machine has moved again. It's now directly in front of the window, which is, I think, going to be where it stays. That's the best compromise that I can come up with between having the milling machine in a position where it's comfortable to use, and then here having the lathe again in a position where it's comfortable to use and which uses the best combination of the space available, tucked in there behind the brick pillar that we've spoken about many times during this project. So that's the lathe back on the ground now. The chain hoist is still attached, as you can see, to the lifting strops, but there's no weight on it. The lathe is resting on its feet. Just need to level it and get that set up. But that's obviously a job down the line. There's still quite a lot of work to do in here before I start sort of final adjustments of machines and things like that. And the good news is, in that corner where I used to have shelving, let me move you over there. Stand by for some dodgy camera work. In fact, you know what? I'll spare you and I'll switch you off and move and then switch you back on again. Here we are then. So yeah, this corner here, the lathe used to be almost up to the wall there, up to the corner. Well, it certainly was up to those sockets on the wall, and we had some shelving there, and that's going to go back up because I can get in there. It's physically possible, get in there quite comfortably. So lathe and milling machine accessories could go on those shelves, so they can go back up. swizzling around. I'm in the process of putting another shelf up there, which was removed when we put the milling machine in a couple of years ago. So that's going to go back up, and some of the stuff that's currently under the bench will go up on that shelf. Some tooling, we've got some bearing pullers and things like that, because underneath the bench is a real mess, and has been for a while. Just a jumble, really. Let me show you. Hang on, I'm twisting around. So we're looking at the bench, and tilt you down a little bit. Yeah, underneath the bench, just a midden of just stuff. So we're going to sort all that out, get some of that dragged out of there, and then my brother's idea, actually, is to put the compressor under the bench, which it will go under there quite comfortably, and we'll leave a little bit of room at that end for a shelf, for some other bits and pieces, and also, I'll be able to get under there to maintain the compressor. It's not as though it's going to be boxed in or anything like that. It will be, be accessible. And then I'm going to put a remote condensate drain. Excuse me. I'm going to put a remote condensate drain on the bottom of the tank, bottom of the receiver, so that I could easily drain the receiver, blow down the compressor, drain the receiver of any condensate without having to grope around underneath the bench to reach the drain down valve. So I'm going to put a remote drain down valve on there, so that'll be easily accessible. We can just chuck it in a bucket and drain the condensate off. So that'll be an improvement, definitely. So yeah, making some progress. We're out to my local Screwfix today, and those of you that don't live in the UK, Screwfix, I think I've explained before, is a builder's merchant and sort of general trades supply store. So I've got some cable glands, because I'm going to put a new lamp on the milling machine while I've got it apart, and I'll wire the lamp into the power system at the back. So cable glands to make a nice neat job of that. Various holes in the wall where shelves have been, and they need repairing. So I've got some drillable filler so that we can plug the holes in the walls. We've got some screws for fitting the shelves. We've got some wall plugs, ditto for the shelves. And then to secure the milling machine to the ground, I'm going to have to dig my SDS drill out. It's in the shed somewhere. I bought a new SDS drill bit to drill some holes in the concrete floor. And we have some concrete anchors to bolt it down with. So we're getting there, aren't we? So I think that will be the end of this short video. Let's have a look down the workshop. It's very cold today. We're in minus figures. I had to de-ice the car this morning. About -1, I think, out there. Yeah, so there we go. There's the workshop. Still looking as jumbled as it did before, minus the lathe, of course. But we're cracking on, and we're getting there. So I'd just like to reiterate a Happy New Year to you all. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing and sticking with me through another year. Very, very much appreciated. Hello to the new subscribers. Welcome aboard. You're very welcome. And as you can see, things are afoot for 2025. Hopefully with a much improved workshop, we'll be able to get crack on with some projects and get some stuff done. So have a great week, and I'll keep you posted with any more progress that I make in here. And mind how you go. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.